is about a transition in our economy. We know we had a model of an economy that wasn't sustainable. We have to create a model that is sustainable. And at the heart of that is enterprise and exports innovation. As Frank outlined there, we have seen our companies move from 40% export focus to 54%. That's a huge shift in the focus of companies that are supported by Enterprise Ireland. Indigenous companies are going to be at the heart of our long-term recovery, and we need to build on this tremendous work that's been done by Enterprise Ireland to diversify the direction of our exports. I think these figures are really impressive against the sort of background that we've seen. Our traditional markets have been very, very weak in Europe, and what has the response of indigenous companies and under the guidance of Enterprise Ireland has been to diversify. And the figures are there for all to see. The consistent growth in the target markets, the 27 target markets that the Taoiseach's Export Council has identified. The consistent growth of 20% per annum in the last 3 years in those markets is showing consistently we are diversifying away. Of course, we're not ignoring traditionally strong markets in Europe. They continue to be important to us, but it's really important that we help to develop companies who can be ready to go into those new emerging markets. That's where the growth will be. 90% of growth will be outside of the European Union in the coming years. We have to reposition our companies, and that's what Enterprise Ireland under Frank's guidance has been doing. It's also very much at the heart of our own action plan for jobs initiatives. We have introduced, for example, the first-time exporters division, because we know companies have to be quicker to be exporters. Most of them really need to be almost born to be exporting rather than starting in a domestic market and hoping to build. We want to make more companies export ready, and I think the programs that Enterprise Ireland run, like improving management skills by exposing them to best practice worldwide, like investing in R&D, those are strengthening our capacity of our companies to penetrate these markets. As the Taoiseach said, it is absolutely important that the trade missions reflect the capability of those companies, and just as Enterprise Ireland is diversifying where it's putting its people, we have stepped up very considerably the number of trade missions and the location of those trade missions to back the message of diversification that's there. We've also looked at the sort of problems that companies have, the access to finance, and there's now a suite of measures, financial measures, that are new, sponsored by government, to support companies from that early emergent stage, scaling and out into export markets. Few people know, and I know Frank had often commented, Enterprise Ireland is unique internationally in having the number of companies that it has invested seed capital in. A portfolio of 800 companies that is delivering not only strong export performance, but a commercial return to the state from the portfolio we hold. Lastly, before I could do it, I'd have to pay tribute to Frank Ryan personally. We've had an indication from the chairman of the board that they are starting the process of recruiting a replacement for Frank, who is retiring towards the end of the year. I think Frank has led Enterprise Ireland in probably the most difficult period, both organisationally, in a huge transition that has occurred in Enterprise Ireland over the past decade. It has downsized, but it has continued to deliver quality service to indigenous companies. I think his leadership has been he has never put himself out to draw the applause. He has been always supporting his staff, putting people first, showing their qualities, leading them in the best way possible. I think these figures that he can reflect on, that graph, the last graph that you saw up there, of that steep rise out of the recession, I think Frank's steady hand on the tiller has been absolutely crucial to that. And at a personal level, he is such a good counsel, I suppose, advice, consistent in his approach, wise in his advice at all times. So, Frank, I really thank you for what you've done for Ireland, and for so many people whose jobs depend on the work you've been doing over the years. And I wish you great success in your future, wherever that takes you.